everybody. It's James with Rowe-Thrush. Welcome to the Rowe-Thrush Livestream Interviews Show, episode 27. I am back after 2 weeks of working remotely from home. Mark Winters and Jeanette Weiner stepped in and took over for me while I was working from home. My wife was traveling overseas, so good to be back, though. Looking forward to our live stream here today. And our partner that we're partnering with today is Video Mount Products, or VMP as they are known. And quick thing that I want to call out, any viewers that are watching, please drop in the comments where you're located, what segment you call on, and if you've ever sold any Video Mount products before. Quick little thing about Rowe-Thrush. We're a manufacturer rep agency that specializes in Granger. We, you know, 1 second. Very, very sorry, but I'm getting some feedback here. I need to go grab my headphones. Sorry, real quick. All right. That should help. Very, very sorry about that, everybody. And to Keith with VMP, this is what happens when you try something new for the first time. So, Rowe-Thrush, we're a manufacturer rep agency that specializes in working with the Granger sales force. We have many great tools available to the Granger sales force, such as the Rowe-Thrush SharePoint site, Rowe-Thrush videos, live stream interviews that we do here today, as well as jumping on district team calls too, and introducing districts to the suppliers that we represent into Granger, as well as the solutions that they bring. And with that, would like to welcome Keith to the show. Hello, Keith. How are you today?
I'm well, James. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. I wish I would have thought about the feedback and the noise as far as the headphones and all. But like I said, trying something new and a little bit of a mistake there. So welcome to the show. Before we get into VMP, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? What is it that you do at VMP? How long have you been there? And what did you do before you came to VMP?
So I am the president of the company, which means I wear 23 different hats depending upon what day it is and what time of the day it is. I've been with the company for 24 years, or 26 years, I'm sorry. I came to VMP in 1996. So I've been here 26 years. I graduated college with an accounting degree and then worked in Manhattan for a few years and went to work as a manufacturer's rep in the greater metro New York, New Jersey area, covering Brooklyn and Queens and the Bronx. And VMP was one of the lines we repped. I had an opportunity to come be a part of VMP and move closer to my family. I'm originally from Virginia and the company's located in Maryland, so that was pretty close. So it was a great opportunity to join a new and growing company, and I've been doing it for 26 years now.
Wow, so you know a lot about the company then, and hearing you say that you're the president, so you wear many hats. That's one thing that here at Rowe-Thrush, we like everybody to be able to do multiple jobs, just in case somebody's sick or needs to take some time off. That way, we don't really skip a beat when it comes to servicing our suppliers as well as the Granger sales force and customer base.
Sure.
So certainly understand that. Now, there's one other question that I always like to ask the people that we bring onto the show, and that's just to get to know you a little bit more as a person, and that is, what is your favorite movie and why?
If I had to pick one, it would probably be Forrest Gump. I just felt like that, it just covers a lot of things. It's one of those movies that if you're channel surfing and you come across Lieutenant Dan or Bubba Gump, you're going to stop and listen to what's going on there. So that's always been a fun movie for me. I always enjoyed it. I always like Tom Hanks. I think he's a great actor.
Yeah.
And so I would say, yeah, Forrest Gump.
Yeah, he's a good guy too. I remember I once saw like a news article about him, how he was at a bar or something like that, and he started talking to some guys there, and this one guy passed out drunk, and so Tom took the guy's cell phone and started taking pictures of himself with the guy, making funny faces and just doing funny things and all that. And it just shows, what kind of a person he is, that he can joke around like that. And Forrest Gump, that's an awesome movie. Great pick there. Definitely one of my favorites as well. I remember seeing it in the movie theater when it came out. The whole family, we all went together. That was like a family, family event that we all did together. So,
Sure.
so great movie. That's one that if it's on, I have no problem watching it. Yeah.
Me either.
So, so tell us a little bit about VMP. What is it that you guys do, and tell us a little bit about the history.
So we started out when the company first started in 1996. We started with 6 TV mounts that were basically designed to cater to schools and sports bars, that type of thing. That the video part of schools were just really getting started, and sports just started becoming a thing, and in sports bars or in bars in general where there was a TV there to watch something. So we started with 6 products, and over the last 26, 28 years, it's kind of morphed into a lot more than that. It's kind of tough, video mount products kind of limits what we do by title. So we are, a lot of people know us by VMP. We don't mind that because we don't want to be pigeonholed into one thing. But we've tried to be, we're a mounting solutions company for AV communications and security. So we do a lot of things, and it's just not TV mounts.
Great. And we're going to get into a little bit more of the types of products and all. But before we do that, you have this term that you guys kind of created, right?
Yeah, we did. So when you're the low-tech guys in the high-tech world and you want to kind of stand out in the maddening crowd, we came up with a fancy term called cross-platform provider, which basically means that our products are not specific to a single industry. They kind of fit a little bit of what everybody does. And that really works nicely for us, and that's how we've helped grow our company and morph it into the machine that it is today, covering all those different industries that I talked about with AV communications and security. So that's what we specialize in. And again, it's real important that the people that have known us for so many years know that we're not just a mount company anymore. We're not just a TV mount guy.
Great. Now, when it comes to the types of Grainger customers that would be interested in your products, who can benefit from your products?
So, and again, I love the approach, the segmented approach, because it really makes good sense to me, and the fact that they've broken it down into the categories that they have. And I've kind of listed a group of guys that fall into each of the categories that they recognize as being their segments. So in manufacturing, again, you go into a manufacturing situation and there's a lot of opportunities for our products. You're going to have, on the manufacturing floor, there's going to be safety issues. There's going to be security issues. There's going to be announcements. There's going to be meetings. Everything is going to be part of that, as well as some of the manufacturing process itself runs through as the computers go through and they do part of the manufacturing process. It's nice to see on the screens what's going on, and sometimes a bigger screen or a smaller screen is going to be appropriate. And we've got mounts and other accessories that fit all those different types of screens. In the healthcare industry, I think if you walk into a hospital or another healthcare industry, you know that there's going to be products like that. You're going to see TV monitors everywhere, both in the rooms and on the walls. But you're also going to see, or probably not going to see, are the equipment cabinets that house all the electronics and the IT-based stuff that's got to be controlled and managed in those environments as well. As far as governments go, you got everything from courthouses to police stations to state houses to all different types of applications that fit into both federal, state, and local government, where there are the same types of things. You're going to have a communication situation where you're going to be communicating back and forth. We have the satellite and antenna accessories to be able to do that. We've also got, again, you back to the IT and the communications, where you're going to have the cabinets and the racks and the accessories that go along with that. And again, if you go into a courtroom or any state house, you're going to always have, you're going to walk through security. You're going to have cameras. Those will be mounted on monitors. You're also going to have the mounts and the TVs and everything else in there. So you can announce dockets, what's going to be happening in which room. So there's a lot of different applications in those facilities as well. And then the military, while that's a little bit smaller segment for us, there still are applications where you have the same types of things where they're going to have communications, they're going to have video feeds and information that you need to know in that arena as well. Education is probably one of our strongest segments. You can't walk into a school, K through 12 or the university level or the graduate level, trade schools, all of them have applications that use all the types of products that we sell. And again, the monitor side of it, is one of the big parts of it, because we're a visual community and a visual society. So digital signage that's presenting all those messages has been very successful in that. But again, behind the scenes stuff, and sometimes in front of the scenes stuff where you're seeing, and in trade schools where they're teaching you the IT stuff, they're going to have the cabinets and everything else in every classroom. So those are things that are going to be just part of everything that they do on a day-to-day basis. Property management, and depending upon what you're doing and where you're doing it, property management has a lot of benefits, especially from like the security standpoint, because everybody that's managing properties now, if they're not including security as part of the program that they're providing or the services they're providing as a property manager, then they're certainly not doing the best job they can for their customers. So the security side of it is important. A lot of that fits into the visual side of it, as well as the behind the scenes part with the IT, and then the site-to-site wireless, as well as transmitting signals from building to building. If they need to get information disseminated quickly, they can do that. And then hospitality, good luck walking into a hotel or a hotel lobby that doesn't have all of the visuals as well. Every room's got TVs in it. Pretty much every lobby, every conference room, the breakfast bar, there's always something going on in those. And then you get back to all the security and everything that goes on within a hotel or a hospitality property, and all that it just all kind of fits together. So we've tried to put together a group of products that appeals to a cross-platform spectrum, and we've had good success doing it.
Yeah, thank you for that overview. I mean, really, any customer that has any audio video equipment, you have solutions that can help them. I remember when my daughter first started going to grade school. I remember one of the first, it was either parent teacher conferences or the open house. I remember they no longer had a chalkboard, they had a whiteboard, and they had projectors that they would project onto the whiteboard for whatever they wanted to play for the kids. And I remember I was blown away because I grew up with chalkboards, and I also grew up, and this was a question that just popped into my head. So back in my day, when it was time to watch a video, you loved to hear the sound of that squeaky cart that had the big tube type TV with the strap on it so that it wouldn't fall off the cart because they were pretty tall. Yep. Did you guys make those carts at all too back in the day?
We did not. And as many calls as we had for them, we probably should have, but there was a couple of other guys that were really good at doing it, and they're actually still doing it. They use it for other equipment now as well, but they haven't gotten out of the cart business. But it's something that we didn't do, but I still remember those squeaky wheels rolling down the hallway too. We know something good was about to happen when that came on.
Oh yeah, and when they went over the threshold into the room, if you were maybe taking a little nap or something like that, that sound of the thunk going over, yeah. You woke up and you were like, yes, it's time to watch a video and I can resume my nap.
Exactly.
So, yeah, in education, that is got to be a really big industry for you guys, K through 12 universities, like you said, because they all use smart boards, projectors, no longer overhead with the clear transparencies and all that. They, in some cases, probably have TVs that they would like to have mounted on a wall. So great applications there.
Also, and one more thing, also in the education side of it, so they are constantly expanding their computer equipment and their technology. And one of the things that they're using more and more of, we see more and more of these equipment cabinets that are going into these applications, and not just small ones. They're putting big ones in there as well. These 42s that we have that have, they just hold a lot of equipment, and there's a steady flow of those going out there. So they're constantly expanding their technology programs at these schools, and they need equipment to do all that. And
you guys have some solutions for them too. So that's a great thing.
Yep.
So, when it comes to the customer business issues that a customer could run into, what types of solutions do you have for those CBIs or customer business issues?
Well, I mean, we consider ourselves those solutions. I always say, and again, we were in the TV mount business until I said that just doesn't sound very good. So now we're in the mounting solutions business, which is kind of the same thing, except now solutions is part of what we do. And I really feel like that's something that we provide. Being the low tech guys in the high tech world, once these guys have all their equipment, then they got to come back to the low tech guys and go, okay, how am I gonna mount this? How am I gonna store it? How am I gonna organize it? How am I gonna secure it? How am I gonna manage it? How am I gonna do all these things? And that's really kind of where we come in from a solution standpoint, which leads into the cost savings and the enhanced productivity. So those two things are big. I don't care what business you're in. If you can save us a few months, if you can save us a few dollars, and if you can enhance the productivity of what we're doing, if you can save us time by having a solution that is easy to work with, I don't have to do a lot of thinking. Our stuff should not be something that requires a lot of thought. Again, low tech. That's the beauty of low tech. It doesn't require a lot of thought, a lot of thought processes. And then for safety, which kind of ties in also directly with the emergency preparedness side of it, we do a lot of security stuff. We've had great success in that arena, and part of it ties into, again, you got the monitors, you got the visuals, you've got the lock boxes that we do very well with. You've got the site-to-site wireless for CCTV that's transmitting signals back and forth. So there's a lot of products that really do fit nicely into the safety and the emergency preparedness side of it as well. So those would probably be the CBI categories that we're the strongest in.
Great. And we're going to get into a few of the key product categories of products, and you're going to go over a little bit as far as how they can help out, starting with digital signage.
So digital signage is everywhere. 10 years ago, if you went into a place and you saw a TV telling you something, it was pretty unique. But now, if you don't walk into a place that has a display of some kind, either telling you something or selling you something, that's also pretty unique because it really is everywhere. And some of the things you see there, the retailers, transit systems, government institutions, corporations, and campuses. So that's everything from you walk into a lobby of a school or a hospital, there's information to be disseminated there. You go into campuses, the same type of thing, corporations and boardrooms. Like I mentioned before, in manufacturing facilities, there's always some sort of a visual where these guys can see stuff as they're walking by it. What time, shift
Airports,
changes. What's that?
airports.
Absolutely. Airports is a big one. And if you go into an airport, you've got it not only in here's the flights coming in, here's the flights going out, here's where your luggage is going to be. You've got all of the other information as far as, every store you go into is going to have something there.
Yep.
When you're sitting in the waiting areas, there's going to be TVs to be watched and everything else. So there's video all over the place, it's great for us, So the mount that you're looking at there, the other nice thing about that, we use it for menu boards. So Popeye's chicken, every Popeye's chicken in the country has that behind their menus boards. So that's always nice. And you can also turn that from a landscape mode into a portrait mode simply by moving the rails and taking that back plate is actually it's a three-piece back plate. So if you want to make it not as wide, you can take one of those pieces out, 3 1-foot segments. And that way you can go really nicely in a portrait mode without having a bunch of the mounts sticking out either side. So it's a really functional mount. You can strap them together to get long ways. So there's a lot of different features in that one as well.
Yeah, I've actually installed that one at my parents' house up above a fireplace, and it was actually very easy to install. The hardest part was lifting the TV up over my head to mount it up to it. But
Yep.
other than that, the actual installation, very simple and easy to do. And I remember that part, that you said about the middle section you could remove to make it shorter if you have a smaller TV. So
Right. So that's a nice functional mount.
yeah.
Yep.
So DVR lock boxes.
So the biggest part of security, not the biggest part, but one of the most integral parts is the recording of the information that these guys are gathering through their surveillance cameras. And usually that's now a lot of it's going up to the cloud, but there's still so many people that want to they're very tactile. They want to be able to touch their security. They want to make sure that it's where I can get my hands on it if I need it and not disappearing into the cloud someplace. So we have 3 different sizes of lock boxes. You have the original size, which was the great big one that the old VCRs used to go in. People still use that a lot because they'll put more than one component in it. and it saves them the cost of a second lockbox. And the other two that we have are both rack mountable, so they can either go into a rack or they can be wall mounted. You can either mount it. Each of these can be wall mounted directly to the wall, or we have wall arms for two of them as well. So there's a bunch of functionality with that. And the beauty of this is, or the most important part is regardless of how much money you have invested in your equipment, if somebody walks off with your recording device, you got nothing. So this is a very low cost item to make sure that the information that you're gathering to protect yourself and your business is protected itself, and it's not going to walk off.
And hopefully the recording unit that you have is a Spico Technologies one, and you got it through Grainger.
I like that, yeah.
All right. What about your satellite and antenna mounts and accessories?
So this is another category that we added long after we were originally doing the TV mounts, and it was something that we got some calls for it. The guys that were originally doing the sports bars, they had satellite dishes on the roof, and they were trying to get the signal into the sports bar. And it was a situation where they said, "Look, we need more of these. So can you do them?" So we started making them, and then, given the creativity that so many of these installers and integrators have, they found 1,000 more uses for them. So everything from, we had the Department of the Interior that's sinking the roof mounts to the bottom of a lake, that they're tracking fish migration, current movement, the algae blooms, everything else that you would never expect something like that to do. And we've also got guys that are putting them on the top of the park surfaces, putting them on top of mountains to track bird migration, and they can, they have other information, temperatures, weather conditions, everything that flows through there. So that's the non-pen roof. We also get, we're going to talk about another application shortly. The pitch roof one is really good because not everybody has a flat roof, and this will give you a lot of flexibility with that, but it'll also allow you to get, again, non-penetrating. People don't want you drilling through their roofs. They don't want you drilling through their parapets. So it gives you an opportunity without compromising the seal of a roof to get the information transmission equipment up there, not the equipment itself, but the mounts for that, without compromising the safety of the roof. And then the tripods they've been around forever. Guys are very creative with the way they're using these as well. But for the most part, they're still being used a lot for Yagi antennas and transceivers on like a 5-foot mast.
Yeah, and when it comes to the FRM series, the non-penetrating mounts, the way you secure it actually is you just put some cinder blocks within the box. Actually, you'll see here in this picture on the rooftop of a high school where they have these cinder blocks that help weigh it down to prevent it from moving in high winds, or when they put something on it, such as in this case, which this is not what it was intended for. So again, just like they're not intended to be sunken down into the middle of a lake to track fish and stuff like that around mountaintops. Yeah. Again, just customers thinking outside the box as far as how they can use these products.
Yeah, so this is a great application, and this is something that the dealer that did this installation actually contacted us and said, "Hey, I don't know if you're suggesting this to people, but we use this all the time, and it saved us a lot of hassles because, one, I don't need to get a cherry picker to get out there to mount a camera or a parapet onto, the wall of the school. All I got to do is I can get a 6-foot ladder. I put this up there, and if I need to service the camera, I undo a couple of bolts. I swing it in, I service it, I swing it out, I fold up my ladder, and I go home. So it's really saved us. You get back to the time-saving applications, and this is another one of those products that just is overperformed in our eyes.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for walking through all of that. So when it comes to a Grainger account manager walking into a customer facility, what should they be looking for to talk to that customer about video mount products?
So the opportunities are really endless nowadays. I would say, again, 10 or 15 years ago, the opportunities that existed pale by comparison to what's out there today. So when you walk into any facility, what you're looking for, pretty much all the AV communication and security stuff is going to end. The cables are going to end somewhere, and that's usually at the equipment. And we usually have something, again, we're back to mount that, store that, organize that, secure it, manage it, all those things. We're going to have solutions for that. So they want to look for any place where there's electronics with cable termination is going to be something that needs to be, like I said, managed, protected, and secured. So they can look for that. So when they have all their equipment, it gets back to the high tech guys looking for the low tech guys, and that's really where these guys come in. So they can look for any of those types of thing. Lack of communicative signage. So if they walk into the lobby of a school and they don't see a monitor there that's announcing nothing less than the name of the school, or this way to the office, or you have to wear a mask, or come see the play that the school's putting on next weekend. All those things can be, that message can be delivered. And if there's no signage in the lobby or any other area around, then that's something where you can take advantage of that as well. So you have that. And also, if they walk around, if they see any stack of components sitting around, that's not the best place for components to be out and where everybody can touch them and play with them or walk off with them. So all that stuff needs to be secured and managed and controlled as well. So those are the first two visuals that they should be looking for. Anything that's got to do with something with a cable attached to the end of it, or stacks of equipment that are sitting somewhere.
Something else that occurred to me, when I was talking about back when I was in school, the carts with the big tube type TVs. You don't see tube type TVs too often. Everything's a flat panel. But every now and then I will be astonished when I see a tube type TV hanging from a ceiling on one of those really old TV mounts that hang from a ceiling or off of a wall. So I would say if you see something like that, that will grab your attention. You'll see it because it's just so huge. That might be a good opportunity as well to talk to your customer and say, "Hey, you ever think about replacing that TV with a nice flat panel? We can help you with the TV as well as the mounting solution too."
Yeah. And the 1990s called and they want their TV back.
Yeah, exactly. Although with those TVs, you actually have to pay to get rid of them now.
You
You can't throw them away or anything like that. I had to do that a number of years ago. So
you also learn how much gravity is not your friend when you try to take that thing down.
yes, they are heavy. They
They are
are
very
heavy.
heavy. Yeah.
So we established what to look for when that account manager spots an application for some video mount products. Who should they be talking to about video mount products, and what kind of questions should they ask that person?
Well, I think the two main guys would be, the security manager and probably the operations manager. The security manager, you're going to ask him, or you'll be able to answer the question yourself, does your facility use CCTV? And if they say yes, and you want to ask them, so how are you securing it? Are you happy with the way that you're handling it or managing it? Is it safe? Is it in an environmentally, as best you can, in an environmentally controlled location? You worry about people tampering with it? Is that one of your concerns? Are you going to have more expansion? Do you have the equipment that you have in place now, but you want to expand that equipment? And if so, then we can probably help you figure out how best to do that. And again, it all comes back, and I keep going back to the managed, secure, mount, store, organize, all those things. And that's really a big deal, because when you got guys that are coming in to do service work, the last thing they want to do is spend the first half hour figuring out what it is that they're looking at. So if you got all those things in place, especially in an equipment cabinet, or they can go right to your source for your CCTV equipment and see exactly what they're working with, you're back to the productivity side. It's saving you money, it's saving you time, and it's making everybody more productive. And as far as the operations manager goes, they have completely different challenges, because they have to report to a lot of the higher up. So if they're dealing with stuff, they're going to be working with the security manager to make sure that he's doing his stuff. There's other people that they'll be working with, especially, let's say in the case of a school, they're going to be working with the school board. They're going to be working with the security officers and all that stuff. So they need to be able to do that. And if it's either an operations manager that, let's say he's working for a chain store, where they have 15 new locations that are opening up, they're going to basically copycat those locations. So if you can bring a solution to him that's going to allow him to help standardize all the things that they're doing, where they can get all the equipment together in one place before it goes out to the job site, and then take, let's say, a 12U cabinet out there, and all the equipment's going to be in there. They're going to walk it out there. It becomes almost a plug and play situation if they've done the site survey correctly. And to be able to do that 15 times and repeat that process, it's going to take the time to do the install and do the service way down, but it's also going to take a lot of the guesswork out of it, because they know they're going to have a very consistent piece of a consistent solution being applied to each one of those applications. So the operations manager, he's got some big people to answer to, and the better he looks by doing all of the preliminary stuff and making sure that he's put himself in a position to succeed, the better everybody's going to look.
Great. Thank you for going through all of that. Now, what are some of the key features and benefits that video mount products have to offer?
So we're in the ability business, and it's kind of cutesy, but it says that they're flexibility, durability, and profitability. So if we can put all those abilities to work for Grainger and their customers, then that's certainly a big benefit to everybody. We have the best warranty in the business. All of our products that don't plug in are warranted forever. It's a box of steel, so nothing's going to go wrong with it. We're not selling lettuce. So a forever warranty is the best in the business. And we also, one of our big things is we pride ourselves on the effort that we've put into a lack of redundancy. So our line is very concise, and it allows our customers and our mutual customers to be very productive with less items. So for example, if you have a 50-inch TV that you want to mount on the wall with a little bit of tilt, we're not going to give you 10 choices. You don't need 10 choices. So we'll probably give you 2. The whole process should not be difficult. Where we are in the low tech business, it should be the easiest part of what you're doing. You shouldn't have a lot of guesswork for it. Easy is good.
Yeah. Well, that reminds me of when Steve Jobs came back to Apple after they fired him. When he came back, they had this wide range of products. They made printers, computers, all these other accessories. And he said, nope, we're going to kill off all of this stuff and we're going to stick with a small core group of products. And that, along with the first iMac, I believe that's when he came out with it. That obviously revolutionized the computer world, but that small scaled approach versus having hundreds and hundreds of products worked, to their benefit, I would say.
I think they did pretty good.
Yeah, I think so too. So, do you have any new products that are coming out soon?
We actually do. So, again, we take great pride and joy in listening to all the phone calls that we have and the people that we meet at the trade shows and other customers that we talk to kind of listen to what they're asking for. We've been selling a vertical wall mount for components that need to hang vertically. A lot of times you're going to go on to a job site and they're going to show you to your closet where you have to do all of your equipment installs. And a lot of times you don't have very much room in there for either a standard cabinet or a lot of other things. So we were selling the vertical wall racks, and we had guys say, look, this is great for most applications, but we need to put it in a box. So we came up with this design, and it's worked out really well. You have a 5U vertical in there. There's 2 different sizes. There's a 20-inch depth, which is more for component-based products, as well as a 36-inch deep product that is better for server-based products. So you got 5U for that, and you also have 2U for either a low profile PoE or a patch panel, and those fit in there as well. We also have optional fans. So if you feel that you're going to be putting equipment in there that's going to run pretty warm, then you can add the fans to it as well. And there's also a nice flip open top to it, where if you just need to go in there and just make sure that lights are flashing and you got some communications going on within the cabinet, just flip that lid open. You can look down the side of it, flip it back, close, lock it, and you can go on your way. So it's a nice little product. It's pretty concise in it. And you put this in the closet, and it's less than a 10-inch throw off of the wall. So you really don't need a lot of space to install it.
That's great. And great to hear that you listen to customer feedback to design and create new products. This product, we have proposed adding it into Grainger. It is not active yet, though, in the Grainger system. So if a customer is interested in this type of a solution, you would have to go through Grainger sourcing for that. And I do see a question here from Mark. Does Video Mount Products have a selection guide or a tool to help choose the right mount?
Actually, we do. Good question, Mark. We have the mount finder, which is on our website, and you can go on there and click that. Last we checked, it's got about 20,000 different TVs and monitors. Some of them older, some of them brand new. We try to keep it up. We usually add TVs in there about once a week. So right now there's somewhere between 18 and 20,000 different model numbers in there. So you go in, you pick your manufacturer, you pick the model number, and it will give you specifically the mounts. It'll give you a visual of all the mounts that will work with that specific model number. And whether it's a ceiling mount, a wall mount, you can just kind of pick from that list as far as exactly what you want. If ever anybody does find, if they have it, they're going on there and they look for a mount and they for a TV rather, and they don't see it, we always ask that you get in touch with us. We'll do the research. We'll make sure it gets added. So the next time you look for it or anybody else looks for it, it will be there. We always thank people for that.
Every week?
We try
Wow.
to update new TVs every week.
Whew, that's
Yeah.
got to be quite the job, and I could only imagine come November, December, and January CES. I could only imagine you guys are checking probably on a daily basis at those times.
Yeah, we do. There's a lot out there.
Great. So I don't think you have any upcoming trade shows that you're going to, but you did just come back from the biggest trade show that you guys attend every year. Tell us a little bit about that and how it went.
Yeah, so we were just out in Las Vegas at the ISC West show, the International Security Conference, and they had an abbreviated version of it in August, but this was the full on show. So it was probably one of the best attended ISCs I've been to. I think they had their attendance at close to 30,000, which is really good for that show. The floor was busy. We were busy from bell to bell all 3 days. We met a lot of new friends. We got to see some of our old friends. The cabinet, the BWC cabinet, we got to show that, and everybody was very receptive to that. But it was just really good to be able to get out and again start collecting more information for where we should be headed with some of our new products, and shaking hands and seeing smiles and all that stuff. It's just good for business. I think it's good for everybody's psyche and for their soul to just get out there and be able to do that again. That's a big part of what we do, and it's a big part of what the industry needs, I think.
Yeah, that's great to hear. We came back from the Granger show recently as well, and it was great to be able to, after two long years, to be able to engage the Granger sales force, their customers, our suppliers, all of that. Be able to shake some hands, see smiles. There were some people that we had never met before in person, so it was really great to be able to do that once again. And I imagine every trade show right now is currently like that. And I have one more question regarding ISC West. Normally I attend, but as I said at the very beginning, my wife was traveling overseas, visiting family, so I was not able to go to the show, which I normally do. Were you in the same booth? Because I know every year you're always in the same exact booth. You reserve it every year. So were you in the same one?
So we had reserved that booth, and what the show management team called us up, I don't know, about a month or so before the show and said, look, we're condensing the show by an aisle on each side. So we were still in the first row, but we weren't on that main wall. And we
Okay.
love that spot because what we learned back in school when we were taking our management and marketing classes, they told us that if somebody doesn't have a destination when they come into a public space, they're always going to go to the left. They're going to go all the way to the left wall, and then they're going to start walking whatever it is from there. That's just some crazy habit that people have. So we love that being on the first aisle. And yes, we'll be back in our old spot next year. We love that spot. And people have
That's
come,
great.
they know that's where we're going to be. So they come over there.
Exactly, and it's a great tactic on your part to always have that same spot because everybody just expects you to be there, and
Yeah.
and the whole fact of starting on the left hand side, it's probably has something to do with reading. You read left to right, at least
Yeah.
most people do. Some people don't. For their language, but for the most part, yes, left to right. Looks like we got another question that has come up. Do you have any how-to videos for installing your wall mounts?
We don't currently. That's something that we have actively been trying to figure out how best to do it. And researching some of the other videos that are out there like that, they don't look like they have to be real involved, is what we're finding. So we're probably going to start putting stuff like that together. So that I think that'll be a handy tool as well. But that's a great question, and I think that's a great option that we probably need to pursue a little bit more.
Okay, good. Thank you for that. Well, that pretty much wraps up the show. Just wanted to let everybody know that both a video and audio recording will be available on the Rowe-Thrush SharePoint site. That way you can watch the video at a later date. You could also watch it here on the Rowe-Thrush company page. But we also have audio recording as well. That way you could download it, put it onto your phone, listen to the audio recording while you're driving. Our next live stream interview will be next Friday, April 15th, and we will be interviewing Lutron Electronics, getting into the world of electronic dimmers, lighting controls, lighting systems, all that type of product. So looking forward to that one. Make sure you join us to learn more about Lutron. With that, would like to thank you, Keith, for joining us here today, as well as our viewers. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day and great weekend.
Thank you, James. I appreciate the opportunity. You guys have a great weekend too.
Thank you.